rather not waste more time, please introduce yourselves and your roles with the film.
My name is Jacob Blake Burns. I wrote and directed this delightful romp.
Zachary Burns, I produced it.
I'm Vinny Hogan. I produced and wrote the music.
I'm Nicole Fancher. I played Teresa.
I'm Jamie Brewster, and I was the nosy neighbor.
I'm Lisa Nidell, and I was the mean boss lady.
Great, okay, so I'll get back around to the other end. Of course, please prepare your questions. I'll start off with something I noticed. There was an absence of calendars. Usually in these time travel experiences, there's a heavy emphasis on that, and I was curious about that perspective.
Yeah, when we first started thinking about this movie, I'm just a huge fan of time travel movies in general, but I kind of noticed that a lot of them have similar tropes. Some of them a lot of them are comedies, a lot of them are adventure movies, but we kind of were wondering if there was an unexplored aspect of time travel, and so we started, it was basically a matter of saying, time travel, horror, what's the horror of time travel? And so, yeah, more to your point, like, so we kind of purposely tried to avoid, like, kind of the first act of the movie kind of is more of a time travel movie, kind of your standard, what you're expecting from it, and then, but once after she gets in the machine, it kind of goes from there. So we kind of purposefully tried to avoid some of the tropes and just try to do something different, yeah, something unique.
Wonderful. Are there questions out in the audience? I've got more. How did the nosy neighbor, was there a question that you saw? Oh yes, please.
So I noticed the use of like the tarp, and I don't know if that was like intentional use of symbolism and like hiding things or covering up things that kind of from the audience or from the protagonist that would like remove or trying to like stay away from or keep under wraps. Is that something intentional?
The question is about the tarp and covering and if that was intentional.
It wasn't intentional, but I think, you know, it is now. But yeah, I do think that, you know, as filmmakers and artists, I think a lot of things like that come out unconsciously, so I try to, when I write, I try to just do whatever feels right in the moment, and adjust from there, but, so there could be some underlying thing like that, but it wasn't necessarily intentional.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah, 100%. You nailed it.
Any other questions? There's a question up there.
Can you talk a little bit about production schedule?
The question was about production schedule.
Yeah, so we did an Indiegogo to raise the money for it, and then so once we had the money, we had a month or so of pre-production to get ready, and then so as we were doing that, we kind of realized this would be way easier if we split it into two chunks, if we kind of focus. So a lot of the movie takes place at the farm and the farmhouse. So we realized, let's just focus right now on getting all that stuff. So we basically spent 2 weeks just at this farmhouse in the barn. We were able to find a house inside of the house and a barn outside of the barn all in one location. So we all, after 2 weeks, were very tired of that house. It was very small, out in the middle of nowhere, but it looked great. So we focused on that. So that was a 2-week shoot, and then we spent another couple of months getting all the other locations and all that together. So then that was another 2 weeks. We split into 2 phases, and that was in, when was that? February of 2019.
Question up in front. The question was, how did the actors get involved?
I'll let them talk in a second, but yeah, we basically did a standard casting process. This was the first time I'd worked with Lisa and Jamie. Nicole, we had made a short film with her quite a long time ago, and then she went on to do bigger and better things, and then we tricked her into being in this movie.
Yeah, audition for it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Okay.
And what about the other actors?
We just went through an audition process and got chosen, and here we were.
We're from Oklahoma,
Yeah.
so we're a tight-knit film community, and Zachary and Jacob just put out the casting call, and of course, all of us flopped because it's an honor to work in. I mean, they're amazing.
They're well known.
They're amazing. So when we saw the casting call, a bunch of us went in, and I actually saw you the day of my audition.
Yeah, I saw you the day of my
Yeah,
audition.
so
And like, I know other people who were in the movie, but, you know,
yeah,
so
So-
there were a lot of people who knew each other on and on.
yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, a question back there.
Again, congrats guys, but so with the time travel movie, like, how much did you expect to be able to reuse footage, and how much did you have to like reshoot?
How much was a reshoot and how much was reused footage?
Yeah, so when we planned it, we tried to plan it so many times that we return to a scene and have multiple Teresas and stuff like that. We tried to plan it so that we could shoot it all at one time. And so that helped us, one, keep track of a lot of that stuff. So we tried to avoid reusing too much footage, which there were a lot of times in the edit where like we just really, instead of going through this whole thing of trying to explain and make it simple for the audience, it's like if we just show the shot again, they'll understand. But yeah, we tried to, a lot of it was just making sure there was like kind of recognizable landmarks or sounds. The music would help a lot with that, and the sound design and stuff like that could help kind of connect all these moments for the audience. So, yeah, does that answer your question? Cool.
Hi, question that I compliment. I really like the story easy. There's no very multiple ways to interpret
The gentleman shared a compliment about the film.
Can we hear that again?
I'm sure he can share afterward. There's a question back there and a gentleman back down here. I'll ask him and then come back to you.
Okay, so mine's a compliment followed by a question. So I was totally engaged by the photography from the beginning of the film and throughout. The natural wood, the light coming through the wood, it was just really amazing. And seemed in like great contrast to all this crap that was going on with the time machine. And I'll just leave it at that. I guess I was going to ask if that's intentional, but I feel like it really made a difference. Thank you.
Yeah, along with writing and directing, I was also the cinematographer. You guys. Yeah, the cinematography, it was, again, it was kind of going into a lot of sci-fi films and time travel films and stuff like that all have a similar vibe, especially sci-fi films in general have kind of, they all want to look modern and cool, and it kind of feels like they were designed by Apple and look like Apple stores. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but again, it was kind of us wanting to, we hadn't seen a time travel movie look like that, so we decided to, again, we just kind of grabbed whatever cool things we thought and put it into a blender and saw if it worked.
Okay, last two questions. This gentleman right here.
I'm just curious, the red and black transition, or I don't know what you call those scenes, but how in the world did you make those?
How were the red and black transition scenes made?
That was one of the most fun days to shoot.
Yeah.
So we went to a thrift store and bought a bunch of random crap, and then went to Home Depot and bought a blowtorch, and got a long macro lens and put the camera as close as we could safely, and just burned stuff for a few hours and just watched it melt. So there's
Best day of filming.
it was really fun. And then kind of to brag on us a little bit more, the opening titles is not CG. We did that old school whenever it kind of at the beginning, so there's kind of that weird melty stuff. Then the opening title shot comes up of shifter. We did that. That was a mix of, what was that? That was a trash bag, a fish tank, and a stencil and some fog. And we just shot the light through the back of it, and we burned the bag behind the stencil. So as the bag melted away, it slowly revealed the logo, and then we in post were able to put that on top of the cool melty footage. So that was another really fun day.
That was fun.
Yeah, and our mom helped us with all the burning and stuff.
All right, last question.
To the shifter, I just wanted to say that I do notice that you're wearing the dress with tabby hats on.
I think that's a great note to end on. Everyone will be in the lobby. We have to clear out for the next show. Thank you to the filmmakers and the actors. Another applause.